All right, what's going on? Good to see you, right? As you can see, it is morning right now, and let's be real, I actually really like how this looks in here. The morning type of lighting and all this, right? Because let's just put it this way. What I've come to realize is it's actually good to be up in the morning. Okay, let's put it that way, right? Because your sleep is better, right? You get the better light. I'm not saying it has to be 4 o'clock in the morning, right? You don't have, unless it's required by your job or your career, but at least get up at a decent time, and it makes me feel better. So, on that note, I want to talk about some things, which has to do with a couple of videos that I've made or may have not made yet. My bad. I was up before the alarm even went off. But that and back to what I was saying. I want to explain some things as to what I put up before and what I potentially will put up, and what does it mean, right? Like, what was I getting at with some of these things? And at the end of the day, I want to get some feedback on some of these. So the plan for now right here is to put this within a WWE gameplay from 2k24 game. So I have that done, and I want to talk over it. This is basically the first commentary over, like a post commentary, talking about something while the game is being played that I've already played. But let's get into it. But first of all, does anybody think that I really, like, if I've done push-ups in a video before in the dark, is that really what I always do? Because it's not. I really do work out, but you gotta sometimes take the reality from the video and the fiction. So I think that's the topic I'm getting into. All right, guys, now check this out. By the way, I'm not really pretending to be a wrestler here, am I, with this microphone? But it's my Venom poster. It is an inspiration, right? Not only can Venom, be a crazy anti-hero and stuff like that, and work out, or like Eddie Brock probably works out or whatever. Venom works out by beating up criminals, but he also can work. Look at that. Take a bite out of your workload. And then he roars. He's a nut job, and he's like Wolfman type of freaking alien character. You know what? Maybe this joke has, or what I'm saying has layers, right? Or like the OSI model from IT. It has layers. Watch somebody, like, I don't know, say something about that. They don't like that, or it doesn't fit in here somehow. Come on, guys, lighten up. All right, and welcome. I am now looking at the WWE gameplay that I made, and the point is to make a commentary right now, but to explain some things as to what I mean by certain things and where I'm coming from, because I have a lot of fun with this stuff. I'll be honest, right? The point of this is fun, right? Part of it is a lot of fun, and I need to maybe show that or imply it, and I need to explain some things, right? So if you've seen some of the more recent videos, there might be a certain type of vibe to them, right? You might think, I don't know, this is too something, or this doesn't really fit together. And the point is, I don't know what people are getting from it, to be honest, because I don't have enough feedback. I want to ask just to be honest, if anybody can just let me know at the end, right, what they think of what I'm saying here. What does this all mean? And give me your take. Just be honest, I don't have enough raw data, okay? I need people to let me know what I'm talking about by the end, because I have to explain now. People that would understand it, in my opinion, okay? So, where to begin, right? I've added some jokes here and there in these videos or whatever, right? First of all, I want to say that not only do I put things in the videos, but there's on the post, right? There's posts on the channel. Here, let's turn this down. There's posts on other sites, right? I mean, I've hinted at where I wanted to go with some of these ideas on X/Twitter/extra minty Twitter, right? Whatever. And on Instagood or whatever the heck you want to call it, right? And I don't know how many people are seeing it, and like, if they are, what do they think? Where did are they understanding it? That a lot of this is supposed to be funny, or a lot of it is supposed to be connected in some way. And this is me seeing that I have this thing to where, and maybe I think it's gonna stay this way, but maybe I need to be a little bit more clear in what I'm doing, because it is something that I believe I'm good at, right? I like to spin a thing a certain way, or make a joke, or send a message, but a positive message. And I don't always explain it right away, right? It's something that I've been good at. I'm seeing John Cena on the screen right now, which is freaking hilarious. Anyway, it's my style of things sometimes is to not explain everything right away, right? Because to me, not only am I very good at doing it that way, but it's almost a comedic style, right? You take a look at, again, I'm not like a literal comedian, but look at some of these other people, whether it be actual comedians or actual creators on YouTube or whatever, right? They have things that work for them, right? Or whatever it is. It doesn't even have to be that, but let's start with this example, right? Look at someone like, I don't know, a Jim Carrey, right? Where he exaggerates things and he has over the top facial expressions or whatever, right? Like, there's certain things that he's very good at, and even if somebody could say that it's ridiculous, but I do think that it works for him, right? It's someone like, I don't know, Jack Black, for example. Like, again, I'm not literally an actual, like an actor, or right, but I'm giving you examples as to where this is going, okay? Right. So anyway, those two have a similar style, or Kevin Hart has a style that of the way he does things that fits for him, because if he's shorter, right? And so certain things that he say or does makes sense for who he is, right? Okay, I think you get what I'm getting at. Take other content creators. Again, I don't even like to mention other people all the time right away, but I don't know, let's say KSI or something, right? He is good at being funny or making content or good doing things in his own way, but it's in his own way. Okay, do I care about FIFA, right? For example, or can KSI make jokes better about his own way, about his own race or whatever it is, right? Joke around with his brother or whatever it is, right? What I'm getting at with this is a certain way that certain people do things. Let's just be real. It is better for that person specifically. Everyone has a unique style to their things. It doesn't only have to be putting humor into things. It could be whatever, right? If I put references to actual IT or references to actual technology, then what does that tell you? Oh my goodness, it came up on the screen right now. But it tells you that I know it, or I'm good at it, or I've experience with it. And like, am I gonna sit here and say that I'm never gonna include this type of stuff in things I do? And am I even gonna say that I'm done with that specifically, right? Because that's something that, like, to be frank, should even take priority at this moment, right? Because and not only that, I might even split things up, and I think that is what I'm doing, because it makes the most sense to me. I think what I've been doing on this YouTube, this channel at least in particular, and some of the things, is mixing things together that, while they can mix together, and at some point I probably will do that, that maybe this is not the time or it's not the way to do it, right? So they have to mix together in a certain way that makes sense. I think at this point, that might even mean doing other things first and then getting them in order. So why did I put this wrestling game on, right? Why did I pick this one of all things to show on this like commentary of things I'm talking about? Well, it's because the wrestling series I was trying to do, or I had the idea of doing, which I mean a couple of them are out, right? But now I need to understand what people are getting from what I did there, because I don't know how much is coming off either the wrong way or the right way, because the right way is that, I mean, like, I guess I let the cat out of the bag here, and that it is supposed to be a series, right? So the general idea was to put not only a playthrough, right? Because what I really want to do on this channel, to be honest, what it was supposed to be starting out at is mostly playthroughs or gameplays, or in other words, I'm playing the games and I'm commentating through them, right? There's a lot of things I have to talk about now because I don't know how much of it was clear. So the idea behind the Wrestling 2k24 series was to combine not only a playthrough and let's play, but also put in story elements, right? So, and I don't know how many people were understanding how much, like, how not only how good I think the idea is or where it was going, but do they even get it? So I advertised certain things about where it was going, right? What the idea I had was. It was a mysterious element, and I said like things that were talking about it, but generally speaking, not on video, right? It was on a post somewhere on a website, or on this website, but like in a post, not clearly stated in video. Okay, so now I have to like clear it up a little more, because yeah, to be honest, maybe I didn't make it clear enough, and now I have to do that. So the idea was to put it together, to combine those two things, right? Not only playing through this game story, but adding a little bit of story too of my own. And it wasn't even to put a huge amount of story, but to put it in the beginning and the end, basically, of each video, right? For example, the commentary I did over those, pretty much any commentary I've done over anything, is live, meaning it is riffing off what is going on within the moment. So I don't want to put anything, generally speaking, besides this, because I've explained things now. I don't want the commentary over what I'm doing in a game or whatever, right? That type of thing to be put in afterward, right? I want it to be riffing and live commentary, because it's more interesting, it's more fun to me, right? Whatever. I just like this style better. So you take that was in there too. The actual reactions were live reactions to the game. But you know what was not actual, like, complete reality on some of these things that I've been doing recently, especially the wrestling idea in general, is a lot of things, right? Because where's this going, right? Like, it's not just the wrestling idea, but you take a look at a lot of things I put on here, and you see generally what I like and what are some things I understand, certain characters or certain, I don't know, movies, games, franchises, superhero stuff. Okay, right? You see what I'm getting at? The vibe I went for, because that's kind of what it was. It was a vibe, right? It was putting in small doses of reality in some of these recent things, particularly the wrestling idea, but it was not fully reality, right? And I don't know if people are understanding that, or if you see it, do you get what I mean by that, right? Does anybody really think that when, if I'm in a video that's, what do you call it, a so-called trailer, and then like the stylized version of that, right? Like, did I really get a package that said Amazon Forest package, right? Like, did I really, like, you know what I mean? Like, did I do push-ups that was in the, like, do I do them in the dark all the time? Or did I smoke something, right? Or did I pretend like I was smoking something in a way, but it was actually reality? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if people are seeing this as like a dark thing, or I don't know, because to me this is hilarious. It's so funny. Look at this. Look at what's on the screen. This is freaking funny to me. Okay, I don't want this to come off the wrong way. I don't know if I need to make sure that it's not, right? I put in something I was smoking, basically a piece of beef jerky. To me, that is so funny. And yes, it was meant to be kind of edgy or cool or whatever, but I need to understand if people think that some of these things are drawing, like getting too close to the edge of the line, because I don't think they are. I think this is so funny. I think so much of what I put out there, even though it wasn't fully explained at once, is actually like, even if it's like, what do you call it, risque every now and then, even though I don't think it really is, but you get what I mean. Like, there's nothing that I could say that was so bad, but I want to understand what people think of these ideas, right? This, I'll get into the WWE thing in a minute here too. The like every little small parody type of thing or whatever I put out, I almost think that it's not only funny, but it's done in a very tasteful way, right? Why do you think I've gone about things a certain way? Like, in other words, one of the styles of things I've been picking to do for the games and making little jabs here and there is almost like a parody style, right? Almost like, I don't know, like what do you call it? A PG-13 almost, but it it takes a jab every now and then. But who's more so the jab at, or how is it done? The jokes I put on Instagram, for example, like who is really being, like, are the jokes more so on the villains, right? And literally the villains that are not even real, like a Doctor Doom or what do you call it, a Lex Luthor. So you know what I mean? Like everything I put out, what side do you really think I'm on? Because if the heroic, right, the characters or the good people are always treated well or said better, right, by me, did you see where I'm getting at? So this WWE idea, I need to get some feedback, especially on that one, because it's supposed to be a series, and now I'm gonna have to talk over the rest of this here. But the idea was to put certain elements, and I want to get some feedback as to if people think this is a good idea, because yeah, it could get a little bit over the top, and it is a little bit maybe too much at once, right? It's almost like an ambitious idea to put almost like a darkish story, a dark comedy, or a dark, I don't know, slight elements of funny, but slight elements of small reality, but it's mostly fake, right? And as you can see what I'm saying, it's inspired by the idea of wrestling, right? Wrestling, if you watch wrestling shows, what do they have, right? Small doses of reality TV, but they are actually, in most cases, scripted or have a cinematic element, right? Like, so what I want people to understand is where I'm coming from on these things is combining certain elements and putting my own style on them, right, to make them funny. Do people understand that when I put what was that? What's cooking or something, right? What was something's cooking? Do people understand that that's almost like a couple layers of jokes, and that it's a meme? People say, right? People say, what is it? Let this man cook. Some of the things are also nods to things that could be a nod or a reference in a kind way to The Rock, to Dwayne Johnson, or the smoking idea is almost like a reference to certain superhero people or movies like Hellboy, or right, these, or it could be, has anybody seen Spider-Man 2 when Dr. Octopus was smoking, right? Like, you understand, like, these are references in a way that to me are funny, or maybe they are kind of like coming off and very cool or whatever, but they are meant in good. They are meant in fun, and there's a little element of sarcasm every now and then, and the whole idea of like I don't know, a confident but like funny superhero type of character that I put on there. But you have to differentiate what is the reality and what is a little bit of a show, right? Because that one in particular is supposed to be a show. The one with the wrestling of me playing the game, especially the parts in the beginning and the end, are a show. That's the parts, okay? So I need to explain that now, and I need to ask certain people, do they understand what this means? Have you seen what I put on certain things, right? Have you seen the descriptions of my videos? So, right, I have to ask this now. So many of the descriptions of the videos on here actually have good descriptions or long descriptions. Sometimes they're even funny. I remember putting a bunch of jokes in their descriptions that I would basically laugh my arse off at, you know? So have you seen the other posts, right? Do you understand what I'm doing by referencing certain things in wrestling? So that's it was supposed to be a mystery element as to where this idea was going. So not only that, I have a little like a basic script for this whole wrestling series, and I gotta decide now. I don't know if this is gonna be done now, or at the very least, not right away, and have to be done in a certain way because this is maybe a little bit too much at once of putting not only a playthrough but a small amount of almost like a small series, like a small not TV show but video series. Maybe this is not the right time for this. Maybe what I really need to do is more so focus on the gameplays and divide some things up. Right, this is supposed to be fun, and it is a lot of fun. But maybe to be able to do that, I need to split it up just a little bit, which is why I also had the idea of putting the IT and technicians type of content into a different channel, or just put it in a way that's not on here, because I don't think it actually mixes well at this moment. So I might actually split some of these things up, and I think that's actually one of the best ideas, or some of the best feedback if I've seen that it's probably true. So yeah, appreciate. Thanks you guys for taking a watch and a listen. Please let me know what you think of these things. Do you think this is a good idea to split some things up? Do you like and understand the idea of the wrestling series being not only just gameplay, but it's a little bit of a mix of small doses of reality, but really it's basically a story. It's putting in, for example, the slogan of the 2k24 WWE game is "Finish the story." Okay, you see where I was getting. And I don't know how many people are understanding where this is coming from, because it's a certain audience, I guess, that I'm kind of. I think a lot of people are understanding what I'm saying, and some people won't, and maybe I just have to take that into account. But please let me know what you guys think. I would love some feedback, because I would love to do some of these things, but it sounds like I have to split it up a little bit, and it has to be done in a certain way at this moment. So thanks so much. I'd love to. And the last thing I want to mention here is this is a classic case of certain things and ideas versus other ideas, right? You take the artist versus, right, the financial, right, or what do you call it, the naysayer, or versus the idea of wanting to do it anyway. I can admit that every now and then I have a stubbornness, but I mean it in the best of way, and I never want it to be negative, right? So it's a couple ideas clashing here. It's this versus that. It's does this make sense in this moment, or should this thing be done first, right? The artist versus the business, or what do you call it? It's a couple of different clashes here, right? Let's just put it that way. And some decisions have to be made as to what makes sense in what right order. Does some of this thing take time away from actual things that like actual jobs and other careers type of stuff, that probably this might have to be put to the side just for that just for that reason alone, really, right? This might have to become, and it doesn't mean that if I'm putting some of these ideas aside that I'm not coming back to them, because in reality, if I want to do something, and it doesn't, to me, it doesn't quite necessarily even, like, I don't necessarily care if people don't like some things that I do, because I know that in my own honest way that I'm not doing anything wrong, and everything I do, a thing I'm putting out, I have nothing to come here and say to have to explain anything, and I know that. But I also know that as much as somebody could say that this doesn't fit here, or this, right, you're not supposed to put a geek thing with working out, or you're not supposed to put funny comic reference things on whatever this website, because it doesn't really belong there. It's like, at the end of the day, I mean, well, I get what you're saying, but in some cases, yeah, I might have to do things in a certain way or a certain order. But at the end of the day, if I want to do something, then I'm just going to do it. I can figure out a way to do it, right? And sometimes you have to retry and respawn, right? There's a little game reference there for you, like level up. I don't know how many people understand what I mean by that either, and I might have to pause these together in a way that's concise and more clear, and I understand that. So, for example, the trailer, right? That first idea of a trailer I had should probably be condensed into a shorter trailer and to a better and more fun trailer, right? So, right, I already have an idea where I'm going with things, but it has to be done in a certain way, and I understand that. So it might have to be a certain order, and it might have to be right. Like I'll have to figure it out, and I'm very much capable of doing so and figuring it out. And if I put a pin in something, then and as long as it's important enough to me, that doesn't mean that it's going away, right? It's coming back. If I care about something enough, I'm going back to it, and I'm doing it, and that's the bottom line for that. Not to reference another thing from wrestling here, but I think people understand what I'm saying here. So, hey, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a wild ride so far of what I put here, and there's more coming, but some decision will have to be made based off of feedback as to what makes sense and in what order. And at that point, I will see you then.